nutrition, classrooms, textbooks, internet connectivity, teacher support, the learning gap at trabaho. Ito po ang agenda ng inyong Committee on Education. 6 out of 7 of these main points are the main recommendations of the EDCOM report as well. Magpapasa po tayo ng reforma, babantayan po natin ang pag-implement ng mga panukalang batas at titiyakin po natin na maayos ang pagbabudget ng mga reformang ito.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, at this juncture, the distinguished gentleman from the great province of Tarlac is seeking the floor to deliver his privileged speech. May I move that he be recognized, Senator Bam Aquino.
What is the pleasure of the Honorable Aquino, the gentleman from Tarlac?
Mr. President, maraming salamat. Mga kababayan at kapwa ko Pilipino, karangalan ko po ngayon na pag-usapan ang isang bagay na nakakabahala sa pamilyang Pilipino at sa ating kabataan, ang estado ng ating edukasyon. Since my first term, educational reform has long been one of our core advocacies. Now, as I rejoin the Senate and as your Chairman of Education, I remain committed to prioritizing reforms in this sector as it will affect generations of Filipinos and the future of our dear nation. But before I discuss the crisis in our education system, I must thank the Second Congressional Commission on Education, or EDCOM, co-chairpersons Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, Congressman Roman Romulo, and Congressman Mark Go. I also want to thank EDCOM Commissioners Senator Loren Legarda, Senator Coco Pimentel, Senator Joel Villanueva, Congressman Jude Asidre, Congressman Khalid Dimaporo, Congressman Pablo John Garcia, and the EDCOM Technical Secretariat led by ED Dr. Carol Markey. Lastly, I'd also like to recognize our current Secretary of Education and our former colleague, Secretary Sani Angara, for his work in beginning these necessary reforms. I met with Secretary Sani recently, and we aligned on priorities and committed to support DepEd's priority bills. The EDCOM report was groundbreaking in its frank assessment of our educational system, and we want to commend their courage, their honesty, and commitment in identifying the depth and breadth of issues. Rather than glossing over and sugarcoating this concern, it is clear that their critique come from a place of care for our youth and desire for solutions. Matagal na po nating paniniwala na ang unang hakbang tungo sa reforma ay pagtukoy sa problema. At dahil sa EDCOM report, nagagawa po natin yan ngayon. The issues our education system face will not be solved easily. The pace of reform can sometimes be slow, kaya nananawagan po kami sa aking mga kasama dito po sa Senado na tulungan ang komite para matugunan ang krisis sa edukasyon. Pagdating sa edukasyon, siguraduhin po natin na walang kulelat. Siguraduhin natin na lahat gagraduate at may siguradong trabaho. Siguraduhin natin na dahil tayo'y magtatrabaho at magtutulungan, panalo ang estudyanteng Pilipino. Mula sa aming mga konsultasyon sa mga lokal na pinuno, mga opisyal ng paaralan, mga magulang at mga mag-aaral, nakita po namin na malalim ang krisis sa edukasyon at matagal na pong nagtitiis ang mga estudyante sa ating bayan. Nakakabahala at nakakabigla ang pang-araw-araw na buhay ng isang Pilipinong estudyante sa pampublikong paaralan. Ang ilan po, kilo-kilometro ang kailangang lakarin para lang makarating sa eskwelahan. Yung iba, walang classroom na nagagamit, kaya nagkaklase sa waiting shed at covered court. Ang iba pa po, wala pang maupuan. Ang mga estudyante kailangan paghatian ng textbook dahil kulang at huli kung dumating. At mano-manong kokopyahin para lang may babalik ang aralin. Ang mga ibang bata pumapasok na gutom. At kung suspendido ang klase dahil sa bagyo, sa baha o dahil sa heatwave, hindi makapag-online para matuto dahil walang libreng internet. Our consultations and EDCOM's report form the foundation of 7 key issues we need to address immediately, while recognizing that there are many more issues that will remain and many more that will arise. Unang-una, Filipino students today face a crisis in nutrition. Only 25% of Filipino children between 6 to 12 months old meet the recommended daily energy intake. 1 in every 4 Filipino children under 5 years old is stunted, and past the first 1,000 days, or from conception to 2 years old, stunting becomes irreversible, and these children will have permanent deficiencies in their physical and cognitive development. Mga kasama, in the 17th Congress, I principally sponsored and co-authored the Masustansyang Pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act, or RA 11037, in partnership with Senator Grace Poe. And to solve undernutrition among Filipino children, we must now work together to pass priority legislation from DepEd that amends this law to strengthen its implementation and provide universal feeding for kinder to grade 3 and targeted feeding for grade 4 to grade 6. Our children deserve to be well fed and taken care of so that they're ready to learn. Pangalawa, second, there's an urgent need to address the classroom shortage in schools, with an additional 165,000 classrooms needed across the country. According to the EDCOM report, our Filipino schools are holding more than 2 shifts a day, and only 30% of school buildings are in good condition. Across the country, I've met local leaders and school officials who've talked about the state of their schools and discussed the lack of classrooms. And this leads me to believe, mga kasama, that the classroom shortage may possibly be even more than 165,000. We will exercise our legislative oversight into investigating the gap between the costs for building classrooms. Through our consultations, nalaman po namin na may mga NGO na gumagastos lang ng maliit sa 1 million pesos para makagawa ng classroom. Pero bakit po sa gobyerno, more than double ang presyo ng classroom sa ating bansa? Umaabot po ng 2.5 million pesos pataas. Ang tanong, bakit mas mataas ang halaga ng classroom na gawa ng gobyerno kesa ng pribadong sektor? At mahalagang malaman po natin ang sagot sa tanong na ito upang makapagpagawa po tayo ng classroom para sa ating mga estudyante. To solve the lack of classrooms, I filed the Classroom Building Acceleration Program, or the CAP Act. Once passed, this will enable the private sector, other non-government groups, and of course, other local government units to build our classrooms and to participate in the construction of classrooms. Kapag sabay-sabay gumagalaw ang gobyerno, pribadong sektor, non-government organizations, national and local government, mas mapapabilis ang pagpapatayo ng mga classrooms natin. Pangatlo, students, teachers, and administrators lack internet connectivity to support their education and aid in providing a multimodal approach to content delivery. With internet connectivity, students can supplement their studies with online learning, do further research, and communicate with one another. Teachers use the internet to improve their lessons and methods of teaching. And most importantly, access to the internet and internet literacy from an early age helps equip our students for future employment. In the interim time it takes classrooms to be built, access to the internet provides an additional avenue for a more robust multimodal approach to education. And to solve the issue of internet connectivity, we will exercise the function of legislative oversight and work closely with the DICT, who have underutilized their budget for connectivity since 2020. As the principal sponsor of the Free Internet Access in Public Spaces Act, which is also called the FIAPA Law, ipapatupad po natin ang paglagay ng internet sa ating mga public schools. I recently met with Secretary Aguda of DICT, who committed to the full implementation of this law by the end of 2025. And during last Monday's SONA, inulit po ito ng Presidente na priority makonect ang ating public schools sa internet. Our students and teachers deserve every possible method to access learning materials and should not be burdened by additional costs to access the internet. Pang-apat, Filipino students still lack access to textbooks. According to the EDCOM report, at the halfway point of the current school year, ngayong Enero po, only 37% of textbooks titles were delivered for grades 4 and grade 7. Ibig sabihin po noon, kalahating taon tapos na, pero mas mababa sa kalahati ang mga textbook na nakukuha ng mga estudyante. Hindi po na-deliver ang mga textbooks ng mga estudyante natin. And friends, this is not a budget issue, this is a systemic issue from textbook development, procurement, publishing, and even delivery. Coupled with the implementation of the Free Wi-Fi law, our stopgap solution to the lack of textbooks is the e-Textbook Para sa Lahat Act. Once passed, this law will require the digital availability of all DepEd-approved textbooks for basic education on all official platforms or authorized channels for free. Ibig sabihin po nun, sa kauna-unahang araw ng pag-aaral ng mga estudyante natin, ang mga textbooks na hindi pa po na-deliver sa kanila, pwede nang ma-access online. Our students should be able to access the textbooks on time, whether in print or on the internet. Panglima, teachers are overworked, underpaid, and significantly lack support. 2 out of 3 teachers report working on over 50 non-teaching tasks and work more than 40 hours a week. Reports have shown that it takes a teacher 15 years to move from teacher 1 to teacher 3, where they earn around 30,000 pesos. And some schools have 500 teachers but only 4 non-teaching personnel. And only 45% of public schools have a designated school principal. Our teachers are overburdened and can't do what they want and what they need to do, which is to teach our children. To solve the lack of support for teachers, I filed the Angat Sweldo para sa Guru Act, which seeks to grant 10,000 monthly compensation to all public school teachers and qualified non-teaching personnel over the next 3 years. And we will work closely with DepEd in addressing the lack of administrative support for teachers. Another reform that was suggested to us by DepEd is to amend the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act to provide alternative pathways to teacher licensure, to strengthen oversight of underperforming teacher education institutions, and ensure greater transparency and quality in the licensure process. Our teachers face a monumental task when educating our children and should be supported and rewarded for their work. Pang-anim po, Filipino students are 2 years behind curriculum expectations. EDCOM reported that there are grade 3 students who have grade 1 level competencies in reading and math, 2 years behind. They also report that grades 8 and 9 students struggled with basic subtraction and multiplication in the recent DepEd learning camps. I've spoken to teachers who have also reported that there are some grade 6 students who cannot read and comprehend according to their grade level. Mga kasama, urgent na po ang problemang ito. There is a learning gap in our country at kung hindi po natin tutugunan, mas lalaki pa ang learning gap na ito. We recognize the urgency to address this gap in the current curriculum with supplemental, remedial programs, and of course, possibly even changes in the curriculum. To solve this issue, we will work closely with the agencies on properly implementing the K-12 system and strengthen the National Learning Recovery Program. We will work on adequately funding the National Learning Recovery Program and support groups that work on remedial learning. Panghuli, mga kasama, number 7. Our current educational system does not adequately prepare students for employability. A PID study released last June 2025 found that only around 20% of senior high school graduates enter the labor force. Only 20% po, with the majority choosing to continue their education. This of course calls into question the senior high school program's employment and entrepreneurial objectives. Mr. President, isa sa mga dahilan ng pagpasa ng Enhanced Basic Education Act noong 2013 ay para matiyak na makapagtatrabaho na ang isang estudyante na nakapagtapos ng senior high. Ganun po yung pangako ng K-12. Kung hindi ako mag-college, gagraduate ako ng grade 12 at kaya ko na magtrabaho. Pero nakikita po natin na hindi po itong katotohanan sa ating mga eskwelahan. Kaya yung K-12 system po natin needs to be properly reformed and implemented for us to achieve its intended goal and to give Filipino students more opportunities. Alam ko po na maraming naghain ng mga iba't ibang panukala tungkol sa K-12 and I assure you we will have an open and lively discussion about the K-12 program pagdating po sa ating komite. Sa amin naman po, nag-file kami ng STEP Act or School to Employment Program. This is a law that will require job placement offices in all public senior high schools, state universities and colleges, and local universities and colleges once passed. But more importantly, the STEP Act empowers the schools to make adjustments to their curriculum and revise their course offerings to be more responsive to labor market information and demands. Our students deserve the opportunity to properly prepare to join and thrive in our nation's workforce kasi para sa maraming kabataan, ang edukasyon at pagtatrabaho nila, yan po ang unang hakbang sa pag-angat ng kanilang buhay at buhay ng kanilang pamilya. Nutrition, classrooms, textbooks, internet connectivity, teacher support, the learning gap at trabaho. Ito po ang agenda ng inyong Committee on Education. 6 out of 7 of these main points are the main recommendations of the EDCOM report as well. Magpapasa po tayo ng reforma, babantayan po natin ang pag-implement ng mga panukalang batas at titiyakin po natin na maayos ang pagbabudget ng mga reformang ito. If we do nothing, we will see effects not only in the individual struggles of our Filipino students, but in our economy and our society. If we don't act now, many of our children will grow up stunted, not only in body but also in learning, with the lowest rates in math, reading, and science, and our failures will be close to irreversible. And mga kaibigan, kung di po natin to aaksyonan, we risk letting go of our best advantage, our youth, ang kabataang Pilipino. Nung nakaraang SONA, sa totoo lang po, pakiramdam ko para tayong bumingo. Bingo, dahil 6 po sa 7 agenda na ito ng ating komite ay natantusan ng Pangulo. 6 out of 7 points here nabanggit po sa SONA. At nakakatuwa po na ang prioridad ng ating komite ay tumutugma sa mga priorities ng administrasyon. We welcome the President's affirmation that education should remain a top priority for the last 3 years of this administration. And the committee, alongside everyone here, will make sure that those promises are kept, mababudgetan at magagamit ng tama ang pera ng bayan pagdating sa edukasyon. The Committee on Basic Education is ready to work to pass the reforms needed to improve our education system. We're also committed to oversee and guard the implementation of current laws. We will not hesitate to investigate and call to task any agency or organization that hinders the reforms needed to solve our education crisis. And most importantly, we will make sure that there is proper utilization of all allocated budgets para tunay na nangangailangan ang makikinabang. Lastly, mga kasama, dahil mabigat rin po ang usapin ng budget sa panahong ito, we challenge our body to increase the budget for education to at least 4% of the nation's GDP. This is the recommendation of the United Nations and many other bodies. Alam ko po, palapit po tayo sa numerong ito. Baka po, for 2026, malampasan natin ang 4% of GDP at mabigay natin ang nararapat na pondo para po sa edukasyon. With the budget increase and the President's pronouncement during the SONA, I'm sure we will find a way to find the funding para magkaroon po ng successful implementation ang mga education reforms po natin. Itong lahat, kailangan po natin para masolusyonan ang krisis sa edukasyon. Paglaban po natin ang karapatan ng kabataang Pilipino na magkaroon ng kalidad na edukasyon. Ito po ang agenda ng aming komite. Para matugunan ang krisis sa edukasyon, pagsasama-sama, pagkilos at pagtutulungan ng kailangan po. Pribadong sektor, advocacy groups, mga estudyante, mga guro, mga iba't ibang sangay ng ating gobyerno at syempre lahat po tayo dito. Kailangan po magtulungan para sa mga isyong ito. At kasama po ang DepEd, ang CHED, ang TESDA, of course with our good friend, former Senator, now Secretary Angara at ang kabuuan ng DepEd, and their 10-year basic education roadmap bilang gabay, mas matututukan po natin ang mga kinakailangang reforma. It's clear, dear friends, that hope is alive and well in our country. And our Filipino youth still have that fighting spirit. Lumalaban pa po. It's now time that we work together and harness this hope to solve this crisis. Muli po, sa aking mga kasama dito, maraming salamat at inaasahan po namin na magkakasama tayo at magtutulungan para masolusyonan ang krisis sa edukasyon. Maraming salamat, Mr. President. Thank